Beyond the attention that we can bring to our struggle to save Saturday delivery, the rally will give us all a chance to express our solidarity with the workers of Southern California who have suffered so much in recent years. So let us treat the Rally for Jobs as the official kickoff to the Labor 2010 Get Out the Vote campaign. During the next Congress, we will engage in a major debate about the future of the United States Postal Service. A new round of postal reform legislation is almost certainly in the offing. Having a friendly Congress that is open to the voices of America's city carriers will be essential. And for that reason, I recently signed off on the release of more than 100 NALC activists to work full-time to elect friends to Congress this fall. Thanks to a record level of COLSEP donations from NALC members, you hear what I said? We now have the resources to release these activists earlier than ever. But to fully succeed, we need every one of you to spread the turnout message in your branches this fall. Don't assume someone else will do it for you. You must do it yourselves. We must all do it ourselves because our members are counting on us. Now, our tradition of struggle and collective bargaining and our drive for solidarity and grassroots political activism are common themes at NALC conventions, as they should be. But in the years to come, we will have to focus on innovation to protect the long-term viability of the Postal Service and to maintain good middle-class jobs for letter carriers. Let's not kid ourselves. There are no guarantees in the modern global economy. Technology, politics, and the economics of our industry are very strong forces that will show us no mercy. That does not mean we're powerless to shape our future, but it does mean that we will have to be smarter and more creative than ever, because innovation is the key to our future. A couple of real-life experiences kind of crystallized this idea for me. First, earlier this year, we contacted Netflix, the DVD by mail company, because we wanted to enlist their support for maintaining 6-day delivery. Now, Netflix is the Postal Service's single largest corporate customer, worth more than $600 million a year in revenues and growing. Now, given how important timely delivery is to their business and the fact that the weekend is prime time for watching movies, we thought Netflix would be a natural ally in our fight to save Saturday delivery. Wrong. In fact, we were surprised to learn that Netflix was taking no position on the 6 days, having decided that its long-term future lies in online streaming video. Then, later in their testimony before Congress, Netflix actually endorsed 5-day delivery. Ever hear of Blockbuster? The company has taken this stance, even though its reports to its investors admit that the postal part of its business will continue to grow for years, and that it expects to be using mail for movie distribution for decades to come. Now, you can argue over the wisdom of Netflix's stance, but it does reveal a mindset that the Postal Service could benefit from. It is thinking long-term and is building its future business around innovation and new technology. And as I'll suggest in a minute, that's what the Postal Service must do with its last mile network. Plan ahead and maximize its value with technology. The second experience came recently from the new head of our Global Union Federation, Neil Anderson of Uni Post and Logistics. Now, Neil, who is with us this week, and he's going to address you on Wednesday. That'll be a treat. He reported that the privatized post office in the Netherlands recently announced that it would soon be shifting to 3-day-a-week delivery. Not 5-day, 3-day. With the volume that it has to handle, the Dutch company determined that delivering mail every other day was the most profitable approach. Profits before service, profits before jobs. There is a message for us. If we don't find ways to provide new services through our first and last mile networks, the pressure to reduce delivery frequency will not stop at 5 days. Indeed, in May, the Postmaster General let it slip to the Washington Post that 4-day delivery would be even better than 5-day delivery with respect to cost savings, as would 1 day, or stop delivering doesn't cost anything. That is the Postal Service mindset. Once you start down the slippery slope of 5-day delivery, there's only one direction this story can go, and it will not end well for us. Now, fortunately, I'm convinced that we can shape an alternative future for the Postal Service by embracing innovation. And by this, I mean more than the kind of innovation we've shown in the bargaining table in recent years, with our discussions about a letter carrier-only health plan or the so-called macro proposal that they rejected in 2006. I mean, we must actively engage with the customers of the Postal Service and develop new services that will employ our members. In November of 2009, I gave a speech to a Rutgers University conference on the future of the Postal Service. In a kind of a science fiction, but really a dead serious manner, I speculated about what the Postal Service might look like in 10 years. Let's kind of do that again. Let's imagine we're gathered at the 72nd Biennial Convention in 2020. Let's imagine it's nearing the 10th anniversary of the Postal Reform Act of 2011, the law that amended the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of 2006. Imagine that thanks to the new law's vote-by-mail provisions, letter carriers all over America are preparing to deliver voter information packets on the hundreds of ballot initiatives before the voters, along with vote-by-mail ballots that have boosted voter participation rates over 75%. Let's imagine that the Postal Service's Last Mile Express subsidiary, a joint venture between the Postal Service, Costco, Google, has expanded beyond its Saturday guaranteed delivery product, so they now offer a Wednesday night service for midweek residential delivery. And maybe this service is broken into the Fortune 500, while the Postal Service's expanded Parcel Select service has generated billions of dollars in carbon credits for FedEx and UPS under the landmark climate change legislation that was also passed back in 2012 by Congress. The service's Green Post Bank, which was authorized back in 2011 to give life to the National Infrastructure Bank that was proposed by former President Obama during his 2008 campaign, has now grown to more than 30 million tax-free accounts with $300 billion invested in green bonds issued by the National Infrastructure Board. These bonds, which should be aimed at American household savers, can finance home and office energy retrofitting programs, high-speed rail, and other clean energy projects, including a project to replace the entire postal fleet with electric and natural gas-powered vehicles. The Green Post Bank would also be providing low-cost remittance services to millions of American residents every day. Letter carriers are out reading utility meters for gas and electric companies across the country with new, more sophisticated scanners. They're also fulfilling orders for shipping materials and office supplies from the more than 25 million small home-based businesses on their routes, working in partnership with companies like Office Depot and Staples. The Postal Service has recently linked a deal with Google Maps, the American Red Cross, and a consortium of property insurance companies to use letter carriers to collect real-time photographic evidence of the effects of natural disasters in order to facilitate relief efforts. Imagine that more than 20 million Americans have signed up for a Postal Service Twitter monitoring service, receiving messages from carriers who briefly check in on their elderly relatives once a week for $100 a year, generating $2 billion for the service.